Hi, Tony here with a review of the new Drift Ghost 4K action camera. Now, I've been a GoPro user for many years, and in fact if you look back at some of my earlier videos, they were all filmed with my GoPro Hero 3, and I still use that mounted to a chesty for some of the bike reviews that I've done. Now, although I am a GoPro user, the Drift cameras have always been kind of in the corner of my eye and had an appeal, and one of the reasons for that is for the shape of them. I've always found that to mount a camera on a helmet, sometimes the GoPro can be a bit cumbersome. Once you get it into its case, on the side of the helmet it sticks out quite some way. There's obviously, you can fit it on the chin bar, but sometimes that's not always practical. I've got a GoPro Session, which is obviously a bit smaller, but it has certain limitations in terms of connecting microphones to it and such. So the Drift cameras have always been something of interest. So I thought I'd grab hold of one of these new Ghost 4K cameras and take you through it. Okay, so if we open it up, on the right hand side we have a couple of sticky mounts. There's a curved mount and a flat mount with the 3M pads on them. We have a wrist strap, which is a remote. You can either put that on your wrist obviously or around handlebars. You've got the quick release clamp, and underneath this you've got a couple of cables. You've got a headphone adapter cable, and you've got your charging stroke PC connection cable. So lots of stuff on that side. On the other side, we'll take a look at that box in a moment, but there is the camera itself. I've got the straightforward Ghost 4K. There's plenty of options to it, but already you can see from a size point of view it's a nice decent size. Got a display screen on the back, and it talks about being modular. This cover on the outside here can come off, and you can swap that for various parts, and we'll have a look at that a bit later on. In this packet we have your instruction guide, and a big host of stickers as well, but a decent instruction guide. So that's what comes in the box. Let's take a closer look at the camera itself. Nice and small and sleek. You've got very clear, easy to operate rubberized buttons on the top. Drift tout this as a modular camera, and the reason is it's this side cover here, if I can get my nail under it, this side cover here comes out, and that allows you then to put various different settings on the side. You can get a bigger battery for extended life. There's also an LCD screen that can plug into here so that you can view that from the side, which I think is a worthwhile upgrade. And then looking around the rest of the camera, you've got your display on the back, you've got the rubberized covers for your ports, you've got your USB charging port in there, and your micro SD card slot. On the bottom you can also see dual microphones. So not only do you record in stereo, but you get sound from in front and behind. This camera features 4K filming at 30 frames per second and 1080p at 120 frames per second. So if you want to get some really good slow-mo footage, that's the one for you. There's video stabilization built in. There's a gyroscope function on here. You can live stream from it. So all in all, it's a very feature-packed camera. Now, following the instructions, when you first get the camera, you'll need to take your USB cable that comes in the box, connect it up to the port on the camera, give it a charge for 2.5 hours before you first use it. Now, to power the camera on, you press and hold that front button on the top there. You get a beep, and there you can see the display light up, and there's the rear display. So you can see we're set for 1080 at 120 frames per second. You've got no films there, you've got battery indicators and all that you need to know. Now if you want to scroll through the settings, there's the button with the back arrow on the back here that lights up the display, which is probably going to make that difficult to see, but that allows you to scroll through the various functions. And you can see that the screen changes colour as well, which is a handy indicator for you to know where you are once you get to know what those colours are. Green is your video mode, yellow is photo mode, purple is time-lapse mode, cyan is photo burst mode, and blue is your settings. There is also an app to connect to this camera, which means you can control everything from your smartphone as well, which often, once you've got the helmet on the side of your head, is a much easier way of doing things. To go along with the camera for audio, I bought myself one of the Drift external microphones. It's just a lavalier microphone, but it's one of the cheap options. You're looking at around about £20. You can probably pick them up cheaper. I think this one came via Amazon for a little bit cheaper, and it is a straightforward lavalier mic. It's metal bodied, it's a nice solid piece, no plastic there. It comes with the foam cover for the top and a clip if you want to obviously clip that and use that as a traditional lavalier mic. So as the saying goes, the proof of the pudding is in the eating, so let's have a look at how this camera performs. It's on the side of my helmet. I've got it set at 1080p with the 140-degree field of vision, which is the widest that this camera goes. I'm using the connected mic, which is just tucked in to my cheek pad on the right hand side. It doesn't have the foam cover over the microphone, so it'll be interesting to see how that sounds. Now, it only hasn't got the foam cover on it because my son decided to put my helmet on and was playing around with it, and then I've picked it up, come out to the bike and realised that that foam piece is gone. So I thought, well, I'll run with it and see how it goes. One thing I did have to do when I got the camera, I first tried it out with this microphone and the sound was dreadful. It was set way too sensitive. You can adjust those settings in the camera, but after having a quick look on the forums, it transpired that there was an update which I downloaded and applied to the camera itself, which is very easy to do. Lovely moustache that guy had. So here we go, 30 miles an hour with the visor open. My favourite little tunnel, second gear. Hopefully you pick that up. Now if I shut the visor, I suspect it's going to sound a little bit more echoey. Now this may sound terrible on the fact that I've got no kind of muffler on the microphone itself, but I guess that's going to give a demonstration of the worst that this will sound. In terms of the camera, really easy to fit to the helmet. I found a decent spot for the bracket to stick to the outside of the helmet. You've got a flat one and a curved one in the box, so you've got plenty of opportunities to put that on there. I placed it on there with the opening facing straight up, purely because I just always worry about those clips and whether they're actually secure or not. So if that clip hasn't quite taken, or it does somehow work loose, the camera should still stay in place. And then for the microphone, I've just got the wire tucked underneath and run up behind the cheek pad on the right hand side, with just the head of the lavalier mic sticking out to the side. One of the things I like about these drift cameras is they're pretty low profile. When they're on the side of your helmet, you don't really notice that they're there. I don't feel any drag, I don't feel any extra weight, it's not creating any more noise in the helmet. What I quite like about this camera on the side of your helmet is you've got the ability to, once you make sure that you've got it attached so it's pointing straight forward, you've then got a very minute sort of adjustment mechanism to angle the camera up or down, just to, it takes a little bit of working through to get it where you need to. It's nice and secure, it doesn't wobble around, and the rotating lens as well just gives you that ability to make sure you've got an upright picture. But trawling through the menus on this camera is nice and easy to do. It's fairly intuitive once you've sat and played with it for a while. It works through quite nicely, and the colour coding is quite good because it gives you an indication of where you are. Obviously, once the camera's on the side of your head, you're limited to what you can tell. But the audio alerts if you're wearing it with a helmet, the audio alerts are still pretty good.
You can hear those when it's starting and stopping and changing mode from inside the helmet fairly well. And obviously if you've got it hooked up via Wi-Fi to the app on your phone, you can control it all from there. But it seems to work really well. I'm going to do this little loop again because it gives me the option to get up to a bit of speed. This is for those of you that know this part of the country, this is Lees Priory, which is an old country estate, which is now I think it's still privately owned, but is now a wedding venue. Absolutely beautiful place. I'd like to take you in there and have a look around, but I'm not allowed because it is somebody that lives there still. But these are the roads and lanes that I absolutely adore riding around in Essex, and even on a weekend you can see it's a lot of these roads are very quiet. The only thing you've got to watch out for are mammals, and I don't mean small furry ones, I mean big hairy men in lycra, middle-aged men in lycra. Okay, so this is one of my favourite short stretches of road. You've seen it on some of my bike reviews, no doubt, and this will give you an idea of what sort of wind noise the mics are picking up at speed. So we're at 60 through here, and you've got the opportunity to choose what mics you use. You can put you can put them onto the front mic or the rear mic, or have it set so you get a pickup from both mics. So hopefully you're still going to get a decent amount of noise from the bike. I'm hoping that because of the way the microphones are set underneath the camera, you're not going to get too much wind noise. Right, so let's just head back down this road. If anybody's seen my Triumph Bobber review on the channel, I stopped outside a pub called the Compasses in Litley Green, which is one of my favourite local pubs. I've just got to negotiate this little jump here. I think I might get up to speed. Oh, there's a car coming. Let's get over it. There we go. Thank you. Nice driver moving over for me. And there's some absolutely beautiful places around it. This is one of the houses I like around here. Beautiful cottage with outbuildings, pastures for horses, stables. It's idyllic, and I think a lot of people don't have this impression when they think of Essex. They kind of think of the I suppose we've got the Towery effect. They think everybody's got plastic tits and white teeth and plucked eyebrows, and that's very much not the case for the majority of Essex. I can see a sign for Doombar there. That would go down a tree at the moment. So I kind of purposely haven't set this up alongside a GoPro for a comparison. I may do that. I may look at mounting these. I'll tell you what, I can put in here. I may look at mounting these two cameras together, just to give you a comparison. I didn't really want to do it as a comparison though. I just wanted to look at this camera on its own merits. I don't like that spot there. There we go, that's better. Alright, here we are, and this is a nice little place to stop just to change the settings. This is Essex, beautiful spot. There's the Steed, Street Twin, looking a bit grubby. I got caught in a rainstorm the other day, and it is absolutely filthy, but I know sometimes bikes look better when they're dirty than too gleaming. Still got a few bits to do on that, but let's get this field of view changed and you can get an idea of how that differs. Okay, so the field of view is now set at 115, which is the middle setting. So you've got 140, 115 and 90. You've got a push button which will at the front, and you'll get an audible beep to show that the camera's on. And then if you press that again, you get like a donk noise, and that gives you an indication that you're recording. You can then, and then when you switch it off, you get a beep beep beep. It's a bit like the GoPro. You can tell whether the camera is on and off, on or off from that. So let's just give you a quick loop with the camera set at 115. Slightly narrower field of vision. This one might actually potentially be a better view for sort of everyday riding. I won't know until I have a look, because I'm recording this for the first time without seeing what the results would be like. If anybody follows me on Instagram as well, you would have seen a picture recently of the bike park next to Jet. That is said Jet over there. This is Andrews Field, little grass airstrip. Alright, let's find somewhere to pull over, and I will switch the camera to its narrowest field of view, which is 90 degrees. Okay, so that is your 90-degree field of view. Okay, so I'm trying to think of what else I can actually say about the camera. I think the quality will speak for itself. The sound quality is still probably a little bit that I need to play with. The Lavalier mic plugged directly into it seems to be the best option. But I'm hoping this is nice and clear. I've got a chin guard on this helmet, so with the visor shut, the chin guard, I've got the mouth vent closed. You shouldn't be getting too much excessive wind noise. So I think if you're on a low profile solution for the helmet, this works well. That's an old Transit.
So there you go, there's my review of the Drift Ghost 4K camera. I intentionally didn't put a lot of technical details in the video. There's a lot of functionality in here, and if I'd have gone through every part of that, then the video would have been far too long for you to watch, and it's probably long enough as it is. So it was just to give you my initial impressions of getting the camera onto the helmet and using it in the real world. So I will put some other videos up detailing some of the other functionality. One of the interesting things that this camera does, it does have a dash cam mode as well, so it can be used in a car. I'll be interested to see on how that works. Now, if you're looking for an action camera and you haven't got any legacy equipment, I would seriously take a look at the Drift 4K. Performance is very good, the functionality is great, the ease of use is great, it's low profile, it's got a whole host of options. Admittedly, there's probably not as many third-party accessories and bits and pieces for the Drift range as there is for the GoPro, but again, it depends on what you use it for. I'd see a lot of stuff out there that looks fantastic, and I've actually bought some of it and then in reality haven't actually used it. If you just want to get this onto a bike for footage, if you want to do some moto vlogging or just record your journeys, I think this is a great option. Snaps onto the side. I've just got it running through with that boom mic, and as you can tell, the sound quality, even though I haven't really played around with it much, is good enough. I didn't try the 4K mode, but I will do some comparisons. So I'll set this up on the bike, probably with a GoPro, and run some side by side in the various settings just to do a comparison. But as I said, this was just an initial video to give you my thoughts on this camera out of the box, getting it up and running and seeing what it can do. The link in the top corner will take you to the Moto Legends website that have the full range of drift cameras, so go away there and have a look. There'll also be a subscribe button down here, and there's one in the end credits. If you click on that, I would be eternally grateful. And all that leaves me to say is thanks for watching, and until next time, take care, ride safe, and I'll see you soon. Bye.
Yeah.